And good evening, I'm Claire Crouch.
And I'm Angie Bevan. Kevin Christopher and Nancy Cox have the evening off. Thanks for joining us here at 6. New surveillance video raising questions about a South Central Kentucky mayor cited for a hit and run involving a teen cyclist.
LEX 18's Lee Searcy shows us the video and talks to the mayor, who says the video speaks for itself. That's tonight's LEX 18 big story at 6.
This is the surveillance video making the rounds on social media. Somerset Mayor Eddie Girdler admits that's him driving the big white SUV. You see it stop suddenly as a girl crosses the road on her bike. Then she continues down the street. End of story? Not quite. State police cited the mayor for leaving the scene of an accident. The mayor says, what accident?
Video indicates that exactly what I told everybody, that I stopped, the person proceeded on down the street.
15-year-old Victoria Smith's family says she was injured and treated at UK Hospital. Looking at this video, it's hard to tell what impact there was, if any, from this vantage point. When we called her family's attorney to get his take on the new video, he respectfully told us no comment at this time. But the mayor is not holding back.
And I'm just grateful from the bottom of my heart that was provided.
He says he's been ridiculed over social media and beyond for something he didn't do.
The issue is whether or not the mayor was leaving someone on the street, laying down, which is totally false and completely lies.
Mayor Girdler hopes his case will be dismissed, but most importantly, wishes the teen well. Covering the news in Pulaski County, Lee Searcy, LEX 18 News.
And Mayor Girdler tells us there could be more to come out of this incident, but he did not share specifics.
A convicted cop killer will stay in prison after being denied parole today. John Paul Works has been behind bars for almost 20 years now, and today's decision makes sure he'll be there for at least another 10. LEX 18's Carolina Buchek has details.
I'd like to say it again. I can never say it enough how truly sorry I am.
John Paul Works nervously asked a smaller parole board to let him out of prison last week.
What I did is just totally immoral.
What he did was shoot and kill Harrodsburg police officer Regina Nichols in 1998. And after nearly 20 years in prison, the full parole board decided today that he'll stay there. And he will not be up for parole again for 10 years. That's a decision the sheriff is happy with.
I can only speak for me, but he did not convince me that he had changed.
Sheriff Kelty knew Officer Nichols well. He worked with her when he was chief of police, and he says she left a huge impression on him.
And I always remember my friend, and I remember what she did.
As he fought back tears, Sheriff Kelty remembered Nichols' compassion. He says he'll never forget the moment she stopped to get food for a man she had just arrested.
He told her he hadn't had nothing to eat and he was hungry. Well, she goes to the McDonald's drive-thru and gets him a hamburger and french fries.
Officer Nichols' family was also emotional after today's parole decision. One of her daughters told LEX 18, quote, "He's never apologized to us. Not written, not anything in 20 years. Covering the news, Carolina Buchek, LEX 18 News.
All right, 2 more days of showers, heat, humidity, and then we change the weather pattern for a few. And it's going to feel pretty good. We just got to get to that point. So by the end of Wednesday, you'll notice the changes. Today, though, the only change that we've really had is a little bit more shower, thunderstorm activity, but also a lot more humidity working in. On the max track, really the closest spot of showers are out west, not even in the forecast region just yet. As far as the severity goes, they're all basically just your pop-up showers, your typical summer thunderstorms that have been going through. Otherwise, it's cloudy with a little bit of sunshine, but that's it. Temperatures still recovering from that little dip we took right through about 2 o'clock this afternoon. We had a few showers roll through the bluegrass, kind of cooled us down slightly, but that's it. Now we've rebounded. We're back to the mid-80s and going to stay there until we start to see the cooling trend get going. So as far as dew point temperatures, low to mid 70s, still muggy around the entire region. That changes Wednesday, and we'll talk more about what to expect with that change coming up in your full forecast.
All right, Seth, thank you. Investigators are trying to figure out what sparked the fire that killed a family pet and forced people out of their apartments this morning.
The scene is on Newtown Pike at West 3rd Street in Lexington. Kylan Mills joins us live with the latest information.
Good evening, Claire, Angie. We do have a number of fire investigators still out here keeping an eye on this building you see behind me. It is a total loss. They are still keeping an eye out for hot spots at this hour. It has been a very busy day for them out here since about 2:30 this morning. That is more than 18 hours. And it's also been a scary morning for people who live here. They were woken up by smoke and flames. A rude awakening for some people who live on the corner of Newtown Pike and West 3rd Street.
It's a shock. I mean, somebody calls you at 2:45 and says, you know, flames are shooting out of your house.
A man who's called this building home for the last 5 years did not want to be identified, but he says he's thankful he wasn't here when a fire sparked up early this morning.
I don't know what I would, if I'd have had to jump out of the window, I don't know what I would have had to do to get out. Because my neighbors described to me the scene that they saw, and it was horrifying.
He says 2 of his neighbors were forced to jump out of bed to escape the flames.
It's crazy. I couldn't even imagine having to run outside naked.
While the people inside made it out safely, a pet dog died in the fire. The apartments and first-floor workshop are a total loss. Fire officials are now focused on figuring out what started the flames, while neighbors focus on the long road ahead.
You see people lost everything in the fire on the news. People like in tornadoes and natural disasters. I never thought that I would be in like one of those situations, but it's life, right? You know, the unexpected happens.
The Red Cross is now helping the families who live here get back on their feet, and we're told the cause of this fire is still under investigation, but they believe it started in a back corner of the building. We're covering the news live in Lexington from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
A Good Samaritan found a baby boy in a cardboard box over the weekend in western Kentucky, and now police are searching for his mother. The discovery was made Saturday in front of the Gott Volunteer Fire Station in Bowling Green. Deputies say a man was on his way to work when he stopped to get a drink from a vending machine in front of the fire station. That's when he spotted the newborn baby. He took the boy to a nearby Marathon gas station where police were called. A cashier says she credits that man for saving the baby's life.
I wanted to pick it up and clean it up, and just my motherly instinct kicked in, and I just wanted to clean him up and just give him some love. He was just laying there all naked and stuff and looked like he needed to be held. My whole day has been like turned around, and it's been a mess today because of this morning. And God works in mysterious ways, and he led him to that baby, and that man was that baby's guardian angel today. If it wouldn't have been for that man, who knows, who's to say if the baby would have made it or not.
Police say the person who abandoned the baby could face criminal charges since they left the child at an unmanned fire station. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's department. A jewelry thief made off with his haul in the middle of the day inside a busy store on Richmond Road in Lexington.
Now there's concern he could strike again, given how easily he pulled it off the last time. Michael Burke has more in this LEX 18 Crime Stoppers report.
It took only a few seconds for this man to get away with a ring valued at more than $5,000.
When the salesperson stepped away to actually go check on the price to see if they could negotiate with him, he takes the ring and runs out of the store.
And he likely ran out with what in reality won't be worth nearly as much out here as it was when it was inside the store.
You think, well, that should be simple. It's a diamond ring, you know, but he can't take this again to a pawn shop. This is not something he's going to want to walk into a pawn shop with, because right away these jewelry stores and these pawn shops communicate.
So it leads detectives to believe this.
This guy probably stole this thing either to sell it to somebody that he already had lined up, or he was stealing it for a gift for someone.
Which begs the question, are they still a girl's best friend if stolen? And if it shows up in another store, is it worth enough to keep things quiet?
Occasionally, too, we'll get informants that will come forward and they'll say, hey, you might want to look into this guy because he's showing up with things that we think could be stolen.
And this guy is a prime candidate to strike again.
This guy, where he just shows up and doesn't have a cover on his face, it kind of just is almost thumbing your nose at the authorities to say, look, you know, I'm here and this is what I'm going to do, and I really don't care what you think.
In Lexington for this week's Crime Stoppers, Michael Burke, LEX 18 News.
And as always, if you have any information that leads to an arrest, that tip could get you a cash reward from Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. You can call 859-253-2020 or text your information. Just include crimes along with your tip and put LEX PD in your message along with your anonymous tip to crimes. All right. And we do need to clarify a story we ran on LEX 18 News at 6 on Sunday. We received a press release about an LGBTQ inclusive church making plans to move into the Magic Mart location in Pikeville. Well, we've learned that information was not true. Those who sent out the release about the Rainbow Flock Ministry have not returned our request for comment. We spoke with the company that owns the building where the Magic Mart is located, Ramsey Enterprise, and they tell us the church is not moving to that location once the store is closed. A memorial flag honoring an Indiana veteran was for sale at a Bardstown Peddlers Mall last month.
Well, that is until one woman took it off the shelf, tracked down its owner, and set off to return it. That's next on LEX 18 News at 6.